Hey everyone, and welcome. Have you ever had one of those days where just the of going to work makes your stomach do a flip? You're not alone. Sometimes it's not the job itself, but who we work that can make things tough. Working under a toxic supervisor can be incredibly challenging, but it's important to remember that you're not powerless. Today we'll explore some common toxic behaviors you might encounter in the workplace, and more importantly, we'll equip you with some practical strategies to cope with them. So buckle up, grab your notebooks, and let's get started. Let's talk about micromanagement, shall we? It's like having someone hover over your shoulder while you type, correcting every keystroke, questioning every decision, and generally making you feel like you can't do anything right. They think they're being helpful, that their constant supervision is the key to success, but in reality, all they're doing is stifling creativity, killing motivation, and making their team feel completely incompetent. Next up, we have unrealistic expectations. This is when your boss sets the bar so high it might as well be on the moon. They demand the impossible, setting deadlines that would challenge even Superman, and then they act surprised when you can't deliver. It's just not fair. This kind of behavior creates a culture of fear and anxiety, where employees are constantly worried about making mistakes and never feel like they can measure up. Let's talk about a lack of support. This is when your boss throws you into the deep end without a life preserver, expecting you to just figure it out. They delegate tasks without providing you with the resources, the training, or even the basic information you need to succeed. A favoritism, a tale as old as time. This is the boss who has the golden child, the employee they favor above all others. This favored one gets the best assignments, the plum projects, and all the praise, even if their performance doesn't necessarily warrant it. Favoritism creates resentment, undermines team morale, and can lead to a hostile work environment. It's like being in a school play where the teacher's pet always gets the lead role, even though they can't act their way out of a paper bag. Let's talk about public criticism. It's like being scolded in a team meeting for a mistake, having your flaws pointed out in front of your colleagues, and generally being made to feel about 2 inches tall. Constructive criticism is one thing, but public humiliation is never okay. It damages your self-esteem, erodes your confidence, and makes you dread going to work every day. Inconsistent communication. Ah, yes, the silent killer of productivity. This is the boss who's a master of mixed messages. They say one thing, do another, and then look at you sideways when you're not sure what's going on. You're constantly second-guessing yourself, unsure of what's expected of you, and afraid to ask for clarification for fear of looking incompetent. Blame shifting, the favorite pastime of the insecure boss. This is the boss who can't or won't take responsibility for their own mistakes. Instead, they deflect blame onto their team, pointing fingers like a child who just got caught with their hand in the cookie jar. Poor communication lost in translation without the romance. Clear communication is the backbone of any successful team, but for some bosses, it's like they're speaking a foreign language. They're vague, they're confusing, and they leave you wondering what on earth they're talking about half the time. Unfair treatment. Playing favorites in the workplace. This is the boss who has their favorites and everyone else is just, well, not a favorite. They dole out rewards and recognition unevenly, often based on personal preference rather than merit. It's discouraging, demotivating, and sends the message that hard work and dedication don't really matter. Emotional abuse, recognizing the invisible scars. Emotional abuse can take many forms in the workplace. Constant yelling, belittling comments, threats, intimidation, and gaslighting, to name a few. This type of behavior is never okay, and it can leave lasting scars. It can chip away at your self-esteem, making you doubt your abilities and your worth. Navigating the toxic waters. You've got this. So there you have it, folks. 10 common toxic behaviors of bad bosses. Remember, dealing with a toxic supervisor is tough, but by understanding these behaviors and using the strategies we've discussed, you can protect your well-being and stay focused on your career goals. Don't be afraid to set boundaries, document everything, and seek support from HR or trusted colleagues. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.